Hello friends. Today I am going to review the book, Project Management: A Systems Approach to Planning, Scheduling, and Controlling, by Harold Kerzner. When the going gets tough, executives can cut jobs, although that endangers long-term profitability, or they can improve internal operations, which requires precision project management. Projects require a commitment of resources, and have definite start and end points. They call for a very strategic approach which includes 1. Establishing a definition for success. Decide how much to invest in what projects, and identify those projects' expected returns. 2. Defining the role of the project manager. How will project managers interact with line managers? 3. With executives? 4. With the organization at large? 5. Involving executives. How much should executives participate and in what ways? 16 points to project management maturity. To bring your projects to fruition and build in-depth project management capacity, follow these 16 professional guidelines. Select and use one project management method. Once companies recognize the need to systematize their project management initiatives, they typically begin with a stage gate approach. Each phase or stage of the project leads to a gate, a set of requirements the project must fulfill to move on to the next stage or gate. A project should have no more than 6 gates. If you set up too many gates, your project team will spend all of its time preparing for gate reviews. Keep your eye on the goal of completing the project. Mature project management requires developing processes that work repeatedly. Good methodologies share these characteristics. 1. They are sufficiently detailed. 2. They rely on templates and standardized reports. 3. They are flexible enough to be applied to a variety of projects. 4. They are integrated into the company culture. 5. They reflect a systems approach. Create and share a project management viewpoint. Today's complex organizations must execute as many projects as possible in the shortest possible time at the highest possible quality level. This requires establishing a philosophy that drives the company toward project management maturity, and making sure everyone knows it well. Project management is the planning, organizing, and controlling of company resources for a relatively short-term objective that has been established to complete specific goals and objectives. To activate this new orientation, establish a project office which includes a project manager, an assistant project manager, and a project team. Like any initiative, this will be only as effective as the people selected to manage it. The staff needs critically important technical skills, as well as planning, conflict resolution, and team-building abilities. Some degree of conflict is unavoidable on projects. When it arises, the savvy project manager should be able to evaluate the conflict environment and analyze where issues are coming from and why they have arisen. Project teams are cooperative groups, and thus vulnerable to disruption. When staffing your team, avoid personality types who tend to play roles that undermine implementation, including the blocker, aggressor, dominator, devil's advocate, topic jumper, recognition seeker, and withdrawer. Select people who will be supportive. Devise solid plans at the onset of each project. Planning and execution are perhaps the project manager's 2 most important skills. Planning can be defined as selecting the enterprise objectives and establishing the policies, procedures, and programs necessary for achieving them. Each project plan should include 1. Objective, what you aim to accomplish. 2. Program, the strategy and tactics you select to achieve the objective. 3. Schedule, when activities will begin and end. 3. Critical chain project management is a useful tool that pays special attention to task-related and resource-related constraints when establishing a realistic schedule. 4. Budget, anticipated costs. 5. Forecast, expected conditions at predetermined points. 6. Organization, the work structure and staff members' positions, titles, and duties. 7. Policy, a general guide to behavior and activity. 8. Procedure, detailed steps needed to execute a specific policy. 9. Standards, the level of individual or group performance deemed acceptable. The implementation of project management within an organization requires strong executive support and an implementation team that is dedicated to making project management work. Combine these elements to draft a statement of work, and project specifications, including dates, milestones, and a final report. Keeping on schedule means knowing when you will encounter important milestones, so that should shape your timeline. Finally, establish a work breakdown for every project to organize the work into manageable pieces. Then identify any dependencies, that is, bottlenecks or tasks the team must deal with before the project can move forward. Proven ways to do this include the Program Evaluation and Review Technique, PERT, and the Graphical Evaluation and Review Technique, GERT. The project management approach requires a departure from the traditional business organizational form, which is basically vertical and which emphasizes a strong superior-subordinate relationship. Finally, develop a reasonably accurate sense of your project's risk level. Get information from previous, similar projects. Research and development projects, for example, are quite risky. You can also create a series of probability distributions for potential risk items. To avoid mushrooming project scope, set precise goals. Your company should complete projects on time, within budget, with minimal scope changes and without disrupting its other activities. Your project scope is the range of tasks your team must complete to create the required deliverables. Actually, projects rarely wrap up without some mission creep. Experienced managers try to avoid or minimize such changes, whether they come internally from ambitious team members, from management, or from customers. The traditional structure must be replaced by project management or other temporary management structures that are highly organic and can respond very rapidly as situations develop. The key to managing scope change is a scope statement, a detailed description of the project's objectives, deliverables, and benefits. Review any proposed changes in light of this statement. When setting objectives, give everyone involved a sense of the cost of quality, also known as the cost of conformance. Conforming to the expected level of quality can be expensive. Often, however, the cost of non-conformance, the penalty that develops due to substandard quality, is even higher. So plan on building your deliverables correctly on the first try. Cost and schedule management are inseparable. Delays result in increased costs. Bear that in mind when you are calculating how a variance in schedule will lead to a variance in cost. When budgeting costs and establishing schedules, remember two of Parkinson's most important laws. The work at hand expands to fill the time available, and expenditures rise to meet budget. Be realistic when you are doing your planning. Pick the right manager. Different types of project managers are effective on different projects. Some thrive in a pressure cooker and may do better on short-term projects. Others are more deliberative and will excel on long-range missions. Projects rise or fall based on having the right manager. That is, someone with planning skills, team-building expertise, the ability to solve conflicts, administrative experience, and the requisite technical skills, such as conducting cost-benefit analyses or feasibility studies. Certain character attributes are even more crucial: leadership, adaptability, knowing when and how to take initiative, some degree of ambition or assertiveness, communication ability, and decisiveness. Top management must drive fear from the workplace and create an environment where cross-functional cooperation can flourish. Top project managers understand their businesses, have a talent for risk management, and can integrate functions across silos. When the mission is so misunderstood, this might be considered an appropriate definition. Project management is the art of creating the illusion that any outcome is the result of a series of predetermined, deliberate acts when, in fact, it was dumb luck. The other key axioms of project management are: clarify the manager's and project sponsors' roles. Executives need data as project sponsors, not as managers. Project managers face two extremes: absentee or very busy, invisible, sponsors who are barely in the picture, or sponsors who want to micromanage. Openly discuss and clarify sponsors' roles at the outset. Boost line managers' participation. Project success can hinge on the support of operational department managers. When a functional unit feels threatened, it is more likely to resist the changes brought about by new projects. Sales staffers may worry about their commissions, and marketers may fear being left with less creative control. Manufacturing and design units accept projects more readily because they use them frequently. Project managers need resources that line managers control. Focus on deliverables rather than resources. Tangible, measurable results, or deliverables, are why projects exist. Focus first on the deliverables you must produce and second on how to marshal the resources to produce them. Build communication, cooperation, and trust. Poor communication happens for many reasons. Individuals can view the same set of circumstances differently. Their emotions and previous experiences can shape their reactions. Good communication can overcome these tendencies. Avoid communication traps, situations where mistrust develops and communication gets harder. Reward the project team and line managers. When a project works, share that success broadly. Don't be tempted to hog the limelight, because you'll need everyone else's support again when the next project rolls around. Drop worthless, routine meetings. Be sure that you don't fall into the activity trap of confusing activity with achievement. If meetings don't move you forward, restructure or drop them. Solve problems promptly. Define and address issues as soon, as fast, and as inexpensively as possible. The best corporate cultures encourage people to report difficulties as soon as possible. Communicate early and often. Routinely assess how the project is going. Establish the standards and metrics that will chart your path. Frequently measure how you are doing to verify that you're on course or, conversely, to provide early warning that something may be amiss. Use project management software as a tool. Good software doesn't replace solid planning or great leadership. Software isn't a cure-all, but it can be important, especially in a multi-project environment. Useful critical chain software programs include Concerto, PS8, ProChain, and ProChain Plus. Train people thoroughly. Set up a workforce training program. Update people regularly as you document lessons learned on existing projects. Project managers, sponsors, team members, and general employees all need to have regular training to build a mature project management structure for the company. Training benefits the company and its customers. It is essential to infiltrating best practices throughout the organization. Troubleshooting. These tips may help you steer clear of trouble. 1. The most valuable and least used word in a project manager's vocabulary is no. 2. You can con a sucker into committing to an unreasonable deadline, but you can't bully him into meeting it. 3. The more ridiculous the deadline, the more it costs to try to meet it. 4. What is not on paper has not been said. 5. What you don't know hurts you. 6. Projects progress quickly until they become 90% complete. Then they remain 90% complete forever. 7. Project teams don't like progress reporting because it shows their lack of progress. Quite often people misunderstand the concept of project management because they have ongoing projects and feel that they are using project management to control these activities. Companies that are serious about project excellence and building a successful project-oriented culture should carry out periodic strategic planning that is focused on project management. Takeaways. 1. Many CEOs and other executives lose their jobs when they fail to manage the project management process. 2. Establish a project management method that works for your company on an ongoing basis. 3. Use strategic planning to build the firm's project management capability. 4. Avoid mission creep. Scope changes that add too many deliverables to a project. 5. Plan ahead and note the dependencies that will determine the project's workflow. 5. Identify any factor that will cause a delay or increase costs. 6. Selecting the right person to manage a project is essential. 6. Make sure project managers have the necessary skills and attributes. 7. Create a project management office to direct project selection and execution. 8. Encourage executive support, but deter micromanaging project sponsors. 9. Line managers control the resources you'll need to make your project successful. 10. Share the project success with all team members and line management. 10. You'll need their support for the next project. 10. Fighting back in hard times.